Welcome to Sure Jan Podcast. I'm your host, Janice M., where we'll be talking about what it's like being single and dating in your 20s and 30s. So let's get some wine and popcorn and get real about what it's really like. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sure Jan Podcast. I'm your host, Janice M., and I hope everyone out there is having an amazing day, amazing week, and if you aren't, I am sending you positive vibes. Okay, so I know, been on a month hiatus. A lot's been going on. I was traveling and, you know the deal. It's just been freaking crazy, getting my shit in check. And I never want to give y'all, never want to give you subpar performance. So when I'm at my A game, that's when y'all hear from me. So if I'm not, y'all know. Anyways, today is Tuesday, and if you lived under a rock or literally have not been on fucking social media, you know what has been going on and what happened to the Oscars. Clearly, everybody wasn't paying attention to what's going on with the Oscars until what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock, okay? Now, I wanted to I feel like the whole situation between Chris Rock and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, right? I feel like the whole situation behind it kind of stirred up a topic that I really wanted to talk about. And I just kind of really want to get into it because I'm like, oh, this will be kind of a good little leeway of trying to have a conversation. Okay. So let me give you my opinion on the whole Will Smith and Chris Rock thing, okay? Now, I know you didn't ask for it, but I'm going to give it anyways. Welcome. So I want to reference by saying, and I want to say this first, I don't condone the violence, okay? Now, have I slapped a bitch once or twice? Sure. Did they deserve it? Yeah. But I'm not saying what I did, me slapping a bitch was right either. However, sometimes you got to choose violence. Now, in this stage, kind of scenario, I shouldn't say stage. Well, it was a stage, but in this scenario, I don't condone what Will Smith did. I do commend him for sticking up for his wife, wholeheartedly on that. Now, do I think he should have got on national TV, got his ass up on a stage and physically assaulted somebody else? No. I don't think that at all. I don't think he should have done that at all. Now, when his ass was sitting on the thing and yelling up at Chris Rock, should he have done that? Absolutely. I would have been keep my wife's name out of your mouth. That's not funny. I would have said some shit like that and kept it motherfucking moving. And not for nothing, but I thought they were friendly. And so I feel as a man or as a human being, just pull somebody aside and just be like, hey, dude, that shit wasn't cool. Or when you got your Oscar or whenever, you pull his ass aside and say, hey, I get you were trying to make laughs, but at my wife's expense, we're not doing that shit anymore. So please leave my wife's name out of your mouth. I would have said some shit like that. Pulled him aside and said that shit to him and call him motherfucking day. Okay? Now, this will be my only time really speaking about this publicly because it has been on social media and it's been a whole thing and people that that shouldn't give their 2 cents about the situation and are dragging this and making it seem it's due to mental illness or, now they're comedians or now scared they can't say anything. And I'm no, this is a very isolated situation and it was it was a very isolated situation. So all you comedians out there, this shit's probably not going to happen to you if you say a joke that somebody doesn't like. Okay. I just felt you can just kind of tell this man was at his wit's end. And I think 2021, Will and Jada have literally been the butt of everybody's jokes. Okay. And I just feel Chris Rock took it too far. I think about Chad Boswick, right? And I think about how so many people made fun of him and said, "Oh, he's so skinny. He looks he looks like he's done, like he looks so sick, like kind of like in a sense of saying like, oh, he's on drugs, like type of stuff. Not sick like, oh, he has an illness. Like, he looks like he's on drugs and like a junkie type of shit. And he's like really, really skinny, all that stuff. And lo and behold, he was like battling terminal cancer. Okay? This is why I think when people start making fun of other people's fucking appearance and you have no idea what the fuck is going on, I just feel like that shit should be off limits. And if you think that's funny and comedic, then I don't know what to tell you. I think that's just, it's disgusting. I think when comedians start attacking people's personal appearance, I just I've never been a fan of that type of comedy. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not condoning what Will did, because I don't think putting your hands on somebody else is the answer to shut them up. I feel like having a conversation, then when you have the conversation, shit gets left, people start being really fucking disrespectful, then, sometimes people deserve the slap. Do I feel like that deserved the slap? I feel like it deserved the conversation before a slap, if it needed to escalate that way, right? Like, sometimes shit happens. Sometimes people get on, like, sometimes people get on your last motherfucking nerves, and then that shit happens. But, whatever. But yeah, so speaking on that, I was talking about, is your partner standing up for you attractive or straight up unnecessary, right? And I feel like when women saw what Will Smith did, like I've seen a bunch of women saying so y'all know I'm black, and black Twitter is literally the best thing in the world. Like, I feel like black people can be the funniest thing, and the shit that we come up with is like unreal. But when I go on black, and it's like always like little tweets and shit like that, so I always like know that we're always gonna make, sometimes we make jokes out of shit that shouldn't be made jokes out of, but we try and laugh through our trauma and laugh through our pain, because that's just how we deal with shit. But a lot of women there was like this huge debate, and it was saying like a lot of women were really impressed, and like a lot of people were standing by Will, which they were like, I think that's attractive that my man is sticking up for me, right? And then in a situation like that, it's tough, right? Like I said, it's really, because it was on national TV, I feel like if this is like in another circumstance, if this was like behind the scenes or whatever, like I feel like handle your business like not in the public eye. I feel like when it's in the public eye, you're so scrutinized. But I was thinking like this whole shit like brought that up, right? And listen, I am like really, I feel like I'm a strong person. I feel like I can handle my own, okay? If somebody disrespects me to my face, I'm definitely going to handle my own. Like, I'm going to handle myself and handle that person how I see fit, right? Now, if me and you are with each other and somebody disrespects me in front of you and you just stand there and you don't say anything, like, to me, I don't like that. I'm not saying like go slap a bitch, like like I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like if you don't even say, like, some people are like, I'm gonna let my girl's gonna handle her own, like, that's fine, like, but every so often, like, I want my man to stick up for me. Like, I want who I love, and I, like, feel that I'm being protected in that sense, right? Like, sometimes it's really unnecessary, and then sometimes it's necessary, right? Like, I feel like if a man, you're my man, right? Maybe this is, like, an old school thinking that I'm thinking right now, right? If my man is with me, and another man comes to me and starts talking out the side of his mouth, right? Starting to talk disrespectful towards me. If my man don't say shit and he's motherfucking mute, like, I have a little, like, mute and blind bitch on my hands, like I have a little Helen Keller, like, you ain't seeing shit and you ain't hearing shit, we're gonna have a fucking problem. Of course I'm gonna handle my own, because I don't, like, for me, I'm just like, no one's gonna talk to me disrespectful. I don't care who the fuck you are, you're just not gonna be disrespectful to me one way or another. I'm gonna bring you back down to size, because no one's gonna do that to me. However, if you see this shit happening to me and you're just standing there, and you don't say like either like, bro, like enough. I'm not saying like you need to throw down. Like I really don't want him to throw hands or do anything unless like somebody like physically touches me and then like or harms me and you want to come to my defense in that sense. You want to put your hand. That's different, right? Different circumstances, different situation. Now, if I'm like, if a man is talking like I said, out the side of his motherfucking mouth to me and saying some shit and you're just sitting there like literally Helen Keller over there, like like I said, we're gonna have a serious problem, one. And two, I need to really start thinking about like how our relationship is going. And it starts to make me question. I don't know. For me, I just feel like I feel like I'm such a strong personality in general, right? I feel like my personality is very strong. And I cannot deal with somebody they don't have to have the same intensity of my personality, but like at least have a backbone. For me, that shows me that you have some type of like, I feel protected. Like, you know, if you're in a situation, like for me, when I grew up, like, my dad was my protector. And for me, he protected my mom, he protected my sister, and he just protected us. Fast forward, that's like what I want. Like in the future, that's what I want, right? I want a man to protect me and my kids. Along with I can protect my man and my kids, right? It's like we protect each other. That's just how I want this shit to go. So if like people are talking disrespect to my man, absolutely I'm gonna fucking step up. If it was like, you know, roles were reversed, I would do the same thing for my man. You know, like I would never let somebody talk sideways out the side of their mouth to my man and me just sit there and be like mute, like watching it. You know what I mean? I would never do that. I just feel like it's like a respect thing, right? Some people may find it unnecessary. Like, and in other sense, like, you feel like your significant other is fighting your battles, right? I feel like if it's done consistently where you, like, when it's done super consistent where you start to feel like, wow, this person's, my person doesn't think I can handle this situation. Like, my man doesn't think I can handle any situation on my own. That's what I'm saying. You gotta choose shit. When like, for me, if another man is talking to me out the side of their mouth and you're fucking standing there, I'm going to be pissed that you didn't say anything or do anything. Right? Remove me out of there. Tell the guy like, don't talk to my girl like that or don't be disrespectful or anything like that. I'm not looking for you to get in a fight with somebody, but like, at least say something. At least not make me stand there like, damn. It's just so embarrassing when you're just standing there and then they're like, like, you ain't gonna say nothing? Like, you gonna let this person just disrespect me like that? Like, I don't know. To me, that's like on some other shit, right? And it was just a huge battle on the internet about this, right? And I was like, you know, how do people view this? Like, how do people view, you know, having their partner fight their battles? Like I said, I feel like either it's a hit or it's a miss. For me, I feel like sometimes it's deemed necessary and sometimes it's not, right? Like, for me, like I said, I can handle my own. So most of the time, like 8 out of 10 times, I'm going to be able to handle my shit. Those 2 out of 10 times, I need to feel like you got my back. I feel like it's kind of some weird reassurance, like, that you feel like your partner has your back, right? How they're not gonna, like, leave you out to dry when, like, shit gets tough. Like, when you're in a pickle or, you know, somebody's stepping up to you, like, you want to feel like, okay, like, my man got my back, like, my man will protect me. If it's, like, another, like, you know what I mean? Even, not saying that he needs to put his hands on anybody or whatever, but, like, remove me. Get me out of there. Like, get me in a safe area. Like, if you're trying to protect me or, like, you know, sometimes I can get, like, you know, when people cross some buttons with me, sometimes I can get a little wild. So if you need to remove my ass out of there, remove my ass out of there. That is protecting me. That's, like, sticking up for me. That's, you know, feel like I'm, like, okay, my man got me. He know I'm about to get crazy as fuck in here, so he got me. He's getting me the fuck out of there. It's, like, I've seen I've seen, like, I've had friends that have had significant others, and I've literally been there where I've stuck up for my friend and the boyfriend has just sat there and has said nothing. And I said something to her. Like, for me, I feel like that's like, if somebody's being disrespectful to your partner and you say nothing, you just sit there, I think that's a red flag for me, right? That's a huge red flag for me. First, I'm like, damn. In my mind, when I'm seeing him, like, this person, like, just talk crazy and just being super disrespectful. And to top it off, it was his friend that was being disrespectful to her. Right? Now, in that moment, if my man is next to me and my girlfriend is talking like crazy to my man, I'm gonna stop that shit. I'm gonna nip that shit right in the butt. I'm like, you're not gonna have me sit here and you just disrespect my man in front, like, just talk sideways to my man while I'm standing near here. Like, that is, not only is that disrespectful to my man, but that's so disrespectful to me. And that's disrespectful to it's like, you don't respect me. Like, bitch, I'm standing here. And you're just not gonna you're just gonna talk to my man disrespectfully like that. Me and you're gonna have a problem now. You know? It's one of those, I've just seen so many, I feel like this has happened so often, and with, like, women have felt this way, like, so often, especially, like, Black women. And I will say this, speaking as a Black woman, like, we are, so, like, no one, especially sometimes Black men and, like, you know, sometimes, like, people, like, don't really show any support towards us. Like, feel like you got our back. Like, we don't feel that way. We got everybody else's back, but we don't feel that way on our own, right? And speaking as a Black woman, I feel that wholeheartedly, where I've been in situations where I didn't feel like I've been around, I look at a Black man, I'm like, I would stick up for you in 2 seconds. Like, I would have your back in 2 seconds. Like, and I was we were in a situation, you didn't even have my back. You just kind of left me to the wolves and just let people just disrespect me and looked at me like kind of like, bitch, what do you want me to do? Like, okay, just leave me to the wolves and, like, let me, like, fucking suffer and, like, get, like, fend for myself here. You know what I mean? Like, I would say that, like, you know, it's very minimal that shit happens. Like, and I know from fucking experience, you know, I know from experience that shit happens. So when a lot of Black women were, like, riding behind Will, it's because they're like, this is what I would want my man to stick up for me like that. Maybe not assault another person, but, like, if a man's talking to me that way, I would want you to defend me. How we defend you and how we defend everybody else, we want that shit in return. And so often, we are, like, the butt of certain jokes, right? No one like, Black women are not as protected as other races, as other, you know, whatever. They're not. And I feel like a lot of women, like, Black women and, like, people that I know were resonating with what, like, felt like, this is what I want my man to do. Because, like, we ain't being protected any other way. So, like, the fact that this Black man stood up for this Black woman was, like, such a huge thing. So, like, for me, speaking from experience, like, that's why I was like, I applaud him for sticking up for his wife. How he went about doing that, I'm not really like, maybe you shouldn't put your hands on somebody. However, I'm glad that you spoke up for your wife. Especially, you know, like, no one knows what happens behind closed doors with anybody, right? Now, this woman has alopecia, and, you know, the reason why her head looks like that is because she has a fucking immune disease. Like, like, you know, it's just, for me, it's just some crazy ass shit. But it just, like, this story just, like, really I don't know. I feel like it just like hit me in the weird feels, because I'm like, in one sense, I understand and I get it. And if I was Jada, obviously I wouldn't want my man to just do it on a public forum. But like in the back of her mind, I felt like she was like, damn, like, look at this man protecting me. Look at him having my back. Look at how much he loves me that he's just gonna risk it all on TV for me. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it goes on the, like, that narrative. Is protecting your significant other attractive, or is it like unnecessary, right? And then like how I'm playing like the middle here, because sometimes it is and sometimes it's not, right? And it depends on how you go about the situation, like I just don't like stuff like that. I think sometimes like people can be really disrespectful and say really disrespectful as shit. And you just have to have, as a couple, as like a unit, as somebody that's like together, you need to be on the same page. Like, I got your back, you got my back. I should feel like you have my back in any circumstance. And you should feel the same about me, right? And that's how I feel like when I say sometimes it's necessary and sometimes it's not. Like, it's not like if somebody's talking to me and like, you're not even letting me handle it first. Like, you're not letting me, like, have a moment first before you, like, swoop in and, like, try and, like, say something. Like, that's where I'm like, was that necessary? Like, was that okay? Probably not. Right? Like, if let me defend myself first. Like, I don't know if I feel like, hopefully y'all are like on the same page with me when I'm saying this, but I just want to feel like I'm protected. And I feel like that's where, for me, I find that attractive when you feel like you're protected, right? When you feel like, that this person has your back 120% and it's like ditto, right? It's just crazy. I have guy friends, and I'm very protective of my guy friends. And when I feel like people are talking to them sideways, I'm just like that anyways in general with people that I love and I care about. So I always think to myself, I know they would do it for me, but I always think to myself, like, why aren't, you know what I mean? Why, as women, right? When we have these instincts to just protect the people that we love and just hold on to that. And as like, I can only, like, when I speak to you guys, I only speak from experience. And as a Black woman, I feel like it's in our nature to just protect everybody, especially like, I'm like very, like, I'm just very like nurturing, and then just like, us as women, we're nurturing as well anyway. So it's more like I want to feel like I need to protect. And like, I just feel like when it's just how I feel like we're just programmed that way. So, I know whoever I'm with and, anybody that I love, I'm always going to protect them. And I like expect the same in return. And I feel like if a person doesn't like protect me and like stick up for me and stand up for me and like have my back, I'm just like, okay, clearly you're not a person that I want in my life in the long run, because like for me that's that's not a person I want in my life at all. Like I just feel like you want to surround yourself and be around like good people. That makes like, I feel like whenever you have, we're getting a little off topic here, but I feel like whenever you have good energy, good vibes, just good people around you, or just like good energy and all that stuff, it just makes you a better person. You feel protected and you feel like, you just feel good. Like you feel very secure in like the space that you're in. And that's why I feel like whenever, like for me, a man to be protective over me makes me feel protected. I just feel so safe and secure. Like I want to feel like when I go out with you, I feel like, all right, you got me, I got you. I feel safe. I don't feel like, oh fuck, I gotta like do this shit for the both of us. Like I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel like, all right, you got my back, I got your back. Like, push comes to shove, if shit goes left, me and you got each other. Like, that's it. And I feel like in a relationship, that is something like so important to just know that that person has you and you have them. That's why when this whole situation happened, and a lot of people were just saying like, you know, I understand, or saying like, I don't, like I said, you know, I mean, it was a slap. I mean, it's not like he like fucking like curb stomped this man or anything crazy along those lines. I feel like it's like it was a slap. I don't know how hard the slap was. It didn't look like it was like that hard of a slap. It just kind of seemed like a little bitch slap a little bit. So I don't really, the extent, I mean, like, you know, like I said, I don't want to go on like a rant and like kind of make it seem like I'm like condoning that he like put his hands on somebody else. Like I'm not doing that. I just feel like I'm like, it wasn't like anything like super crazy, but he shouldn't have done it anyways. But, you know, and I thought like this would be a cool episode to just kind of talk about, because I feel like a lot of women, especially like when they're looking for a partner, that's something that they look for. Someone that just like makes you feel like safe and secure. I feel like that's a big thing I look for whenever I'm like, if I want to plan a future with you, I need to feel like I'm safe and secure in a space. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're in a safe, secure, like I feel like you can be yourself. You can like, you know, let loose a little bit. You don't have to worry because you're just like, okay, I'm safe. Like I don't feel like anything's going to happen. I don't feel like I need to be on guard. So it's one of those things. I feel like as, y'all know I'm from Massachusetts. I'm from Boston. If you don't know what the fuck Massachusetts, but you know what Boston is, yes. And they're like, a good amount of my friends like to stay in a specific area of Boston, and it's predominantly white, the area that they stay in. And normally, like, you know, I don't feel as safe because I am like, most of the time, I'm like the only black person surrounded by white people. And like, I'm sorry for the white listeners that are listening. I know like people of color that understand what I'm talking about, but like when you're in a space, when you're the only minority, you do not feel safe at all. Like I never, ever feel safe when I'm like in that type of space. So when you're in a space where you feel safe, it's a whole, you feel super, super different. Like when I'm in a space where I feel like there's like, I mean, maybe like, I'm just giving you as an example of like this space, right? So say if I'm in a space that has like 4 or 5 other black people, I feel a little bit, I'm like, okay, I can take my guard down a little bit. Like I'm not on guard, and not saying like, it's just not to be like the only minority around, like, you know, majority of around you is like white, is just not a safe feeling. Not saying like somebody's gonna, like, you never know. I mean, no offense, but Boston is low-key or middle-key racist. That's why a lot of artists don't really come here, because they feel the same way. But, you know, I just never know. And especially the area that we go to is like known for like a lot of racist people there. So obviously it doesn't make me feel super, super comfortable to be in those spaces. I don't go often. Like now more, I feel like the more and more I'm around like this area, the more I'm hyper aware that maybe this isn't a safe space and maybe this is not safe for me to be in, right? And obviously like friends that I go with that are white, they like probably wouldn't understand, because like if you're surrounded by people that look like you, you're not going to feel as like on guard. I guess, I don't know. But for me, that's just something how I feel. So sometimes when I'm like, when I say like, I understand the feeling of being like safe and feel like you can be comfortable. So you feel like, okay, like if anything goes down, I know, like, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like very safe. Okay. Trying to give y'all like an example. You know, I'm just trying to say like, it's tough. I can only speak from my own experience. I can only talk from my own perspective. So, you know, this is a perspective that I'm coming from, but you know, I really want to know like how you guys feel about, do you think it's like attractive? Is that something that you look for in a person that's like, you know that they like will protect you in an instance like that, like have your back in that sense? Or are you guys like, no, like I can handle my shit. I don't need you to get in my business. Like I got it. Because I know there's some, like, I know we smart, like beautiful, independent bitches, but sometimes we need a little saving, I know like the song from the Cheetah Girls, Cinderella, and it's like, I can slay my own dragon, you know what I mean? Like, I can be like my prince, like I can be my knight in shining armor, right? I get that, and I'm all for that shit, okay? However, once in a while, I don't want to like sometimes I want somebody else to save me. Not all the time I want fucking to save myself. I'm capable of saving myself, don't get me fucking wrong, but like sometimes it's nice. Like, yeah, I'm a boss-ass bitch, but like sometimes a boss-ass bitch needs like somebody to protect her, even though she can protect herself. It's nice to feel that. So that's why, like, in a sense, kind of circling back, like, I understand where he was coming from. So don't like understand completely, like you're protecting somebody that you love, and you know what I mean, and you felt that somebody that you knew was disrespecting them, and it was like too far, and you knew like what they said was super hurtful to the person, that you could physically tell like it really hurt the person that you love. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, you look at it in a perspective of like a relationship. Like those are key things that I feel like we all should be looking for anyways. You should look for somebody that's like gonna have your back, fully support you, like feel like you're gonna be protected, like someone that will stand up for you. I feel like if you don't have that, or somebody that's not going to advocate for you, like if my man ain't advocating for me, like I don't want you, throw it away, let's get a new one. That's how I feel. Like throw that motherfucker away in the garbage and find something else, because that's clearly he's where he needs to be, in the garbage. Because if he ain't advocating for you or ain't have you like that, like what the fuck is that? Throw the fucking relationship away. Honestly, I just feel like if it's not there, how the fuck can you like? How do you trust somebody? How do you, like, think to yourself, oh, shit, does this person fucking have my back? Like, and I'm not saying fucking extremes, like, a dude looks at you and he's like, whoa, 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 and getting, like, all crazy and shit. I'm not saying that. I'm literally saying, like, when you're in situations, you're like, when shit's about to go down, you know he got you and you got him. Like, when shit goes, like, left. I apologize, that was my Snapchat. I thought my phone was on silent, if you heard it. If you didn't hear it, then disregard. And yeah, I literally just feel like that is just something we should all be looking for. And if we don't, I mean, it just sucks. I feel like if we don't, these are just standards, and I feel like have fall flat because you don't feel that. I feel like in a lot of relationships, especially some that I've seen, it's not like that. I'm like, dude, throw your relationship away. Like, what do you have? Like, explain to me what kind of like relationship you have. Like, I feel like once I know my partner has my back, I feel like I trust them. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at the end of the day and you're like, if shit goes down, is my man gonna have my back, or is my girl gonna have my back, or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, when you think about stuff like that, like, at the end of the day, if you can honestly say yes, they would do it, then you're golden. I feel like that's a good foundation to start with in a relationship. And then, like, if it literally goes left and they don't got your back like that, like, you really need to, like, throw that shit away. Throw it in the garbage. Like, literally do a Kobe in the fucking trash, because that's your relationship. Kobe that relationship out the fucking door. Like, no. Hell to the fuck no. Yikes. I mean, it's just, I feel like that's one of the key foundations that I feel like you need to have in a relationship. And if it's not, like I said, throw that shit away. But I really want to hear from you guys. Like, what do you guys think? Please email me, DM me on Insta. Y'all know I leave my information in the show notes. But if you do not look at the show notes, email me at surejanpodcast@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at surejanpodcast_. Okay? So y'all got it. Leave it. And you guys can also text me. Y'all know I have a number too. So y'all can text me shit too. Like, and I just want to know, like, I want to hear from you guys. And then I'll talk about it in my next episode. But I definitely want to hear from you guys on what you think. Like, do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you feel like that's not really a big deal to you? I mean, I have my own opinion and I have my own thoughts, and I feel like that's start of a healthy relationship. You may not think that way, and I would obviously love to hear y'all's thoughts. So please either DM me or email me. I would love to hear from you guys, or text me. All my information is obviously in the show notes, so check it out. Also, super crazy, but I dropped some merch, more merch. I'll leave that information in the show notes. I have a store on bonfire.com. I'll leave that up. Also, I'm selling other stuff. I'm selling coasters, some sticks, some stickers, and some magnets and little pins. So if you guys are really interested in that, I am going to start putting that in my I'm going to put it on my website so that you guys can just get on that. All this information is in my show notes. So once y'all finish this episode, just scroll on them show notes and you guys can click. I make everything linkable, so you can just click on shit. I make it super, super easy for you guys, so y'all don't have to like look up shit. You can just click a fucking button and then be there. So I love you guys. I'm so sorry I was away. I love you. I would update you with my love life, but it is non-existent. Like a lot of things. But I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Mwah! Bye!